I should probably get started here. If we probably have most people back in. All right, I'll start. So I'm Mike Hodge, and I'm on the informatics side of things. That's kind of XNATs and data sets. And so let's see. I don't do a lot of talking and speaking, so bear with me. But I'll give it a shot here. Scott's hard act to follow, but anyway, I'm going to talk about some file system storage and new S10 funded storage. I think that's been touched on already. And then kind of talk about our XNAT informatics platforms that we're running and containerized pipeline processing as opposed to CHPC processing currently. So this is more the XNAT thing. And I thought I had updated that slide, but no. So on the shared data storage, I think we've talked about that a little bit, but that's mountable shared storage. And we've got a CEF system that's newer, and we've got an older ZFS based system. Both are priced by the terabyte at 160 per terabyte per year. The ZFS is our older system, and it kind of grew out of an original Blue Arc system, I believe. Is that right, Dan? Was it Blue Arc the first, or was there something before that? Yeah, well, the Blue Arc can't really be spoken of either because it was kind of nothing but problems. So, you know, out of the rubble of the Blue Arc, Chip Schweiss, who was here before, put together, it was a homegrown ZFS system that quite impressive, really. But 20 servers managing about 34 pools and 15 petabytes of data total, full disaster recovery, to where you can pretty well instantly switch over to DR when you need to. It's you know, as data sets grew and storage overall grew, it became its limitations kind of started showing up. And one of the biggest problems was that the pool size is limited. And I probably should, but don't really know what the max size of the pool is because I'm not really a storage guy. But some of the data sets like HCP and even like the CNDA archive and stuff started basically exceeding the maximum size of you can store in the pools. And the way ZFS is set up is you've got a server that manages one or more pools. I think you can kind of parallel link those so that maybe two servers can manage the pools, but it's kind of servers managing pools. And then inside those pools is storage data sets. And that's where like you can rent storage as a storage data set. And then kind of some of our big storage archives like CNDA archive, like Mirror archive and things like that are also storage data sets. And one of the other big problems besides just exceeding pool size that became an issue that also became an issue is that a lot of manual administration is required just to kind of keep things going. It's because pool sizes are limited, storage data sets are constantly growing. There's a lot of manual migration that's done just to kind of keep pools from filling up. Sorry. So Chip, while he was here, came up, started working on a CEF-based file system, and that has a number of advantages, which are it's got a bunch of servers, but it's a bunch of servers that manage a bunch of JBODs or just collections of disks, and it's able to manage it all as a single, basically a single giant file system. And due to some issues getting it up and running initially, we ended up bringing in a support team. So we actually, it's almost like not quite a vended solution, but we've got some good knowledgeable support that's not just us behind that system. It's very resistant to data loss, and one of the other nice things about it is it kind of gets more failure resistant the bigger it gets. So and then what we've seen, I didn't really say where I come from. I've been on the Human Connectome project. I was on the Human Connectome project for a number of years, but you know what we've seen there with our kind of IntraDB system and Connectome DB system is that as we've moved to Ceph, we haven't had any Ceph-based storage outages. Like as we have outages in our systems, they still tend to be ZFS related outages. And so as we start to move kind of off of our ZFS storage, I think we'll get more and more robust, and our uptime should increase pretty drastically. So we've currently got, and I noticed my numbers aren't quite yours, but we've currently got 27 servers managing about 6 petabytes of data, adding about 10-11 petabytes of capacity, and the setup of a full DR site, which is kind of what we've been waiting for before going whole hog Ceph, was getting this DR site set up. That should be end of year. Is that?
Yes, we expected that.
Yeah. Good. And so it's got one of the things that this is going to support. It was S10 funded, and this has been touched on in Scott's, well, talked about in Scott's talk, is a shared datasets program. And we're still, you know, I don't know if that's what we're going to call it, because we've had talks at the bottom. The bottom point was maybe we're going to bring it under the Mirror umbrella, but as of now, I'm calling it the shared datasets program. And again, that's about bringing data sets that are of use to a lot of investigators, just putting it out there on the CHPC so that everybody in the facility can access it. Like Scott said, it's not external. This isn't external access, but it's data sets of use by the WashU community. So the data will be organized, mounted on the CHPC, and there is a subscription purchase for access, right, Scott?
I think that was really that's fine. But I also, yes, this is something we probably need to
We're a little bit unclear, but on the slide it says there's a subscription to access the data, and so this is all what's kind of happening now, is just getting the storage in place and starting to get the first few data sets out there.
Part kind of the lack of clarity is really based around how we can cost recovery on this service.
Right.
If we have institutional support for the data bank, really the component that we're worried about, then obviously that's
right. Right. So we may have subscription fees. It seems likely.
No pressure on the department, but
yeah. And then, you know, the department did agree under this to provide a data manager, Petra Lenzini, and Jen, are you involved in that too? And Jen Elam. And yeah, they will help with access, making sure IRBs signed off on where appropriate, and that the owners of the data sets are kind of made happy with the agreements are in place, and then also can do the access control. Currently, by just Active Directory group that may change based on technology advancements that sound promising.
One of the good things about that is that having a data manager in place, you don't, as an individual, I have to worry about this. That becomes like the job, done this many times, knows all of everything that needs to be done and it's configured.
Yeah.
I think that's where you can, how much compliance work there is. Other things that come.
For sure. So this is just listing some data sets that either are sitting on CEF or soon to be sitting on CEF and will be on the program, under the program. And then the idea is that, people are collecting research data for projects, running projects. And as Scott mentioned earlier, the idea is if you pay to have your data stored on the system, but if this is data that's usable by the community, more of the research community, you can move it there. And with the agreement to make it available under the program and that it's usable by everybody and you don't pay the storage fees, so they're recovered by the center.